I am Grant Hagaman, the analyst here for Lakota West Football and the Lakota West Student Broadcasting organization, and I'm here to walk you through a quick little preview of why this Lakota West offense is so good. In this, we're going to break down West's use of dual threat and personnel disguises. Got some really interesting stuff here today. So in this quick breakdown, like I said, one of the main things we are going to focus on is personnel. So we're going to have a quick mini lesson to catch anybody up who doesn't know what personnel is. So personnel is what type of people you bring on the field, and you describe it in two digits and then a P. So like you could say 21 personnel or 12 personnel or 10 personnel. And so what that means is the first digit in the number is the number of backs on the field. So if the number starts with a 2, there are 2 backs. If it starts with a 1, there's 1, and so on. And the second digit means number of tight ends. And so say I said there is 12 personnel. That means there's 1 back in the field and 2 tight ends. Say I said there's a 21 personnel. That means there are 2 backs in the field and 1 tight end. Also, quick note that inherently when you say 2, like to start, like the first digit is 2, it means that is a halfback and a fullback. If you say 21 pony, it means that both backs are halfbacks. And so this is important because it describes what the offense has. Obviously, there will always be 5 offensive linemen and 1 quarterback, but then it's talking about what makes up the rest. And so you list the running backs and tight ends, and anything left over is wide receivers. And so basically, this is important once again because the defense matches what the offense has. Like if the offense brings out a bunch of skinny fast guys like wide receivers, the defense is going to bring out a bunch of skinny fast guys to match them so they don't get burned over the top. Or if the offense brings out a big like bunch of strong guys who are a little bit slower, it looks like it's going to be a run, the defense brings out their big strong guys. And this is even so important that the ref has to give time to the defense to match whatever personnel the offense has. So if the offense switches their personnel pre-snap, the defense is given time by the refs to match it. And so what Coach Bolden and the rest of the coaching staff do to mess with their great personnel, we're going to get into here in this video. Okay, so now that we have detailed what personnel is and how it can change the game, let's take a look at one of the plays where Coach Bolden uses disguises to set up a huge gain. So first off here, let's take a look. Offense comes set. What do we see? Well, first, you've got 1 back right there. Trent Lloyd, he is your 1 back, and there's no tight end on the play. You've got 4 receivers out wide. You've got Remy, Lloyd, Minnick, Fussell, and Scott Johnson. Remy's the lone man down here. And so what we're looking at here is this could very plausibly be run. West is up 24-0. They've got Lloyd, one of their steady backs, back there. They've got 2 minutes 56 on the clock in the third quarter. And it's a 1st and 10. So this could very easily be run. And so right here, you see this linebacker from Colerain. Colerain is prepared to counter this run because if the running back is lined up on the left, he's most likely going towards the right side of the line over there. And so this linebacker, as we see, he is crouching in and he is ready to counter Lloyd. But then right here is where we get something interesting. Here's where the disguise comes off. Lloyd moves out and he goes in to the slot and becomes a receiver. And so what's special about that? We are now not in a 10 personnel formation. We are in 5 wide. And that means you have 5 wide receivers, no running backs, no tight ends. We are in a 0-0 personnel. But since no players or subs came off the field, then the ref does not have to give the defense time to sub out. And so what does this mean? This means that we just went from a play where it was run to a play where it is 100% pass unless you do a power with Bolden, but based off of the 5 wide, I doubt that's what they're going for. And so let's see what happens here. Remember this linebacker right here who we said was coming in to counter our running back? Well, now he's like, oh crap, this is pass. And as you see, he backs up and he's got a man up on Ben Minnick, a Notre Dame recruit speedster. And that's a problem. So basically, we have now forced For Cole Rain to have a run defender and this linebacker right here to be on the field in a pass play. And that is big for Lakota because now they've got personnel and they've forced the defense into the wrong personnel. And so what do? We pick on that linebacker. You've got a D1 athlete right there in Ben Minnick picking on the big, strong, a little bit slower linebacker. See the problem here? And so it's an easy read. Coach Bolden sets up a great play. So watch this. Bolden drops back, looks deep, and has him easily. And so what do we see? Let's watch Trent right here. Trent is right here at the top of your screen. Excuse me, not Trent. I'm talking about Ben Minnick. So Minnick, right here, runs straight at our linebacker. He's got him in a one-on-one. Linebacker's turned his hips. It's obviously going to be man down there across the stretch. And so what do? As Bolden, you know you've got him open, so you wait a second. Wait for the route to develop, and then you pick on that linebacker. So watch, lock, load, throw, and look at that. Look at that separation. That is a good 4 yards of separation on the linebacker, and that is because you're putting a speedster against a guy who was meant to stop the run. And so right there, it's an easy catch, easy go, and that's practically as free as touchdowns get. And that is all because of back here at the beginning. We set up with a running back, and they bring out a linebacker to counter the run, when really we're going in 5 wide verticals down the field. And so that's what you get when you have a player like Trent Lloyd, who is just as good at running back and good as wide receiver. You can play both sets out of the same personnel. And so this is just the first example of how Bolden is really able to exploit defenses by lining up and disguising his true personnel with players who can play multiple different positions. So let's take a look at another example of Coach Tom Bolden and the rest of his coaching staff making great use of their players who can really play full-on multiple positions. And so last time we detailed the use of Trent Lloyd and how he can play both wide receiver and running back, and then how they can even use him to create openings for other players. And so then let's take a look here at who we're going to play multiple positions this time. This time we're going to be looking at Mitch Bolden. And so first of all, let's get into this set. Remember our personnel. What are we going to do? We see one running back, no tight ends. We've got a 10 personnel. There's your one running back right there. That's Davion McCoy. And so our 4 wide receivers include both Trent and Giovanni in the group. What does that mean? That means we have the option to run jet sweeps with either of them. So once again, you've already got that little bit of confusion that the defense has got to keep up with. Although in this situation, if anyone ran a jet sweep, it would be Trent Lloyd with Davion McCoy on the right side of Mitch Bolden. But that's not the point of this, because what we're going to see on this play is Mitch Bolden is actually turned into the ball carrier as they go with a QB power. And so we get set at the line. And Mitch is going to hike the ball. Bam. What do we see? Mitch looks right. You see him over here taking, and what is he looking at? He's looking at, I believe that is either Remy or Lloyd, can't tell quite from this angle, who is creating a screen, faking a screen. And what has it done? It's pulled this linebacker in. And Mitch, looking other ways, has this cornerback facing the other way, and has got a cornerback manned up down here on Giovanni going the other way. And so now you've got Middletown and pass defense. Why? Because your running back, Davion McCoy's already left. Looks like he's going to go block up front. And so everyone on the Middletown team is going pass, pass, pass. But watch this. Mitch breaks forward, and Davion McCoy is actually now a lead blocker. And the only man who was watching run, this one linebacker, has the one blocker, Davion, right there lined up for him. Davion takes the block, and then it's just a foot race to the end zone. And so right there, this is all great coaching from the coaching staff of West. Up to right here, these are basically yards just given by the play made up by Bolden and the rest of his staff. And then right here is what makes Mitch special. He is able to get down, fake, and then use his momentum and weight to not break 1 but 2 tackles and get into the end zone for a touchdown. And so this is just another great play drawn up by Coach Bolden that really shows what he can do. By using players who can play multiple positions, and this one, Mitch Bolden, both the ball carrier, running back, and the quarterback, he can really exploit defenses and get massive gains by just really having people not knowing what's going to happen or who's going to carry the ball. We've now looked at what has happened with Mitch Bolden's dual threat ability of both being able to run the ball and throw it, and we've looked at Trent Lloyd's dual threat ability of being able to catch and run it, and how they can use both of these guys to fake out defenses and have the other team's defense with the wrong personnel. But what happens when you use both players' dual threat abilities to create threats and disguises in the middle of the same play? Well, let's take a look. So first of all, we come set here, and what do we got? We have one back on the field and no tight end making this 10 personnel. That one back is Udez Gonzalez Jr. And so, but here's the confusing thing for the defense. Udez is not going to touch the ball on this play, but this play is a run. So what's happening here? You've got player up top. Who is that? That's Trent Lloyd. You've got Mitch Bolden. Both of them have the ability to run the ball. And so that creates a problem for the defense. What is going to happen here? So here comes Trent. He's going to do a jet sweep and take it to the right side. He's done this multiple times already in this game. Princeton is ready for it. So here we go. Oh no. Bolden didn't hand the ball off. Look at the Princeton defense. Right side, right side, right side, right side, right side. They're not ready for this. There's a big problem right here for Princeton, because now they were like, okay, we're probably looking run. It's 2nd and 5. We're in the 4th quarter with 3 minutes left. They're like, okay, this is a run. We know it's a run. If they pass it here, they're just foolishly greedy probably. And so they're thinking run, run, run. And Udez doesn't get it. And so then they see Trent going to get it, and he doesn't get it either. And so now, look, their whole defense is messed up. But they've got 2 men here and here who saw a run. Of course, the defensive backs and safeties are going to come in eventually, but I'm saying up front, only 2 people saw Mitch getting the ball on this left side. And what's going to happen? Look at that right there. That is a beautiful block. Perfectly done by this West offensive line. And so now Mitch has a hole. He beats the safety with a sidestep and then guns it up the middle for a 15-yard gain roundabout. So what really makes this play special is just the ability of not just dual threats, but it's how you use them. Even when they're not getting the ball, it completely can destroy other teams, as we saw not only on the first play, but right here. Look at this. Trent doesn't touch the ball, but he commands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. He has 5 Princeton players now out of the play just because of how scary he is. And so then now Bolden, someone who you think could only pass it because he's labeled quarterback, he's just as good at running it. And so then now his dual threat ability comes in, and you just get a massive gain. This type of play is used out a lot over a lot of the Lakota West players, and it's what really makes this offense something special. Now we've got one more play also from this Princeton game. We'll look at that, and then we'll call this a quick little overview. With the last play we're going to break down today, and what we are looking at is another play from this Princeton game. The reason it's a great way to look at this Princeton game is because Princeton is the number 15 team in the state, and so their defense stacks up well, and this is something you're going to be seeing going into playoffs. And so we saw that last play. West had them pretty fooled, had them going the wrong way. But let's take a look at another play here. This is a play when the defense does catch on to what's happening with West, and this is quite frankly one of my favorite plays from the season. And so let's get right into it. First of all, offense comes set. What are we looking at? 4 wide receivers. You've got Scott Johnson, Giovanni Wilson, who's usually a running back lined up as a wide receiver. We know how dangerous that could be. And then we've got Remy and Lloyd. We already know we're going to be looking at Lloyd here. This is going to be a fun play with him. And so what's going to happen here is you've got your 10 personnel, but we're not going to run it with Udez. And we're going to run it with Lloyd. And so we're going to see right here, it's going to come sweeping across right there. So what happens here is, first of all, defense is already confused because you came out in 10 personnel and you're not running with the running back. But Princeton knows Trent Lloyd's ability, and so they're not quite that surprised at this. So they're prepared. And so Princeton brings 6 defenders. West O-line all shifts right. Like if we take a look here, watch Tony. Curtis gets up, moves right. Everyone gets up and shifts right, trying to create a bit of misdirections, push to the right. And so, but here's the thing. Doesn't work. the blocking immediately. It's not there. Not because the blocking is bad, just because Princeton didn't fall for it. They see the handoff. They see the couple people moving to the left side of the field. It doesn't work. Princeton's there. Look at the eyes. This guy's eyes. This guy's eyes. This guy's eyes. They're all looking right. And this man, he's broken through. So what's going to happen here? He breaks through, but he takes the wrong man. He pulls down Mitch Bolden. And so here's where something special happens. The play has not gone quite as you wanted. The line of scrimmage is at the 22. Right now we're looking at Trent Lloyd on round about the 18-yard line with 1, 2, 3 defenders about to box him in. And so here's where it becomes something special. So first, let's go back a second. Trent gets the ball. Remember how we just talked about these safeties and this linebacker's eyes? They're all looking at who's getting the ball and facing the direction. Look at Trent's eyes. Watch Trent's eyes all the way through here. Look at that. He is looking downfield. He's looking here. He's looking round about here. He's not looking down here, which is something huge, because a running back who's about average would be looking here. They see all this open space down in here, and they're thinking, let me get back to the line of scrimmage. But Trent Lloyd's special. Trent Lloyd keeps his eyes downfield, and look at this. He cuts back against the grain. And now all of a sudden, see all these Princeton players who thought they had something massive coming. They've predicted it. They found out Trent. They're like, Coach Bolden, nice one. We knew it was going to happen. We saw him coming out to this left side, and we have him locked up. Well, doesn't quite work, because Trent Lloyd's a little bit special. And so he cuts back, and he refines his offensive line. Look at this. 5 seconds ago, you were just surrounded. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 linemen in front of you. And so he's going to make a break. Also, look at this pancake here from Tony Curtis. Good stuff. But anyway, Trent comes out, and he makes a huge play for 24 yards. Just look at this. Absolutely incredible. And so basically, what this is looking at in this play is really, in conclusion, with Lakota West, there's a great coaching staff with Coach Tom Bolden. He uses all these different disguises and ways to get around it. But even if you are going against a top defense in the state, such as Princeton, who really knows what they're doing and can sometimes catch on, the amount of star power and players that West has can create a play even when it's not looking good. As you saw here, Trent Lloyd is able to use his star power, able to use his field vision, able to use his ball carrier vision, and keep his feet on the ground. And he really just knows how to move. And this is what makes this West team special. It's not just the play calling. It's not just that. Everything works, from the coaching down to the players. This is an incredible team, and I'm looking forward to this playoff run. Speaking of this playoff run, let's take a quick look. So we have Lebanon this week, this Friday. Of course, here at Lakota West Student Broadcasting, we are covering that. We will be live. Also, before that game this Friday, we do have a show called Bird Talk Live. It will be coming on Thursday at 7, from 7 to 8. It'll be live from the Wings and Rings. We hope you guys join us for that. That'll be a fun one. But looking at this bracket, we've got Lebanon in the first round, and then the most likely opponent for the second round will be Princeton. Great rematch. We looked at a couple of their plays in this video. Very excited from that game, but all around excited for the playoffs. There's some great matchups around in the bracket, such as Fairfield going up against St. X in the first round. Those were two very memorable games from this year, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top of that. But yeah, here from Lakota West Student Broadcasting, Grant Hagaman, ready to sign off here tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed with this quick little breakdown. Nothing too in-depth today, but just wanted to get a quick look at this team before we go off into playoffs. So see you guys then. Let's go to state. And as always, go Firebirds.